Sport Fishing on the Fly is brought to you by Maui Jim Sunglasses. First Tellurium Corp., the future of mining. And Hardy Rods and Reels.
Well, hello everyone. This is Rick Passek, Fly Fishin Fanatic, and welcome to another edition of On the Bench with Sport Fishing on the Fly. Today we're going to tie a tropical shrimp pattern. I'm not going to bother yakking too much because this one takes a little bit, so let's get her going. So today in the vise, I'm just going to move it over just slightly. In the vise we have a Mustad O'Shaughnessy in a size 4. I'm going to be using some Semperfly Nano Silk in white, 12-aught. For the thread, I'm going to be using some shrimp eyes, little shrimp, mono shrimp eyes for some eyes. I'll be using some Sili legs. These are the clear pearl silver Sili legs, as well as the Hairline Grizzly, the micro. You can either use the micro or the next size up. I don't have the next size up, so I'm using the micro today. I will also be using some Vicuna dubbing in the, I don't know how to pronounce that, Caenisc, something like that. Basically, it's kind of like a cream. And then a burnt orange from Vicuna dubbing as well. And then I'll use a dumbbell eye. Okay, that's about it. So now you can tie these much bigger, much smaller. It's up to you. I like this size myself. So just going to come back to about the point of where the point of the hook is, roughly there, and come back again just to make sure that's all tied down nice. Cut off my my thread. Then I am going to grab my orange dubbing here. Just get a bunch of that out. So what I want to do here is just put a little ball right at the back. So I'm going to wax my thread. Just go back, open turns, back to there, take my dubbing, and I'm just going to create a little bit of a, not much, it's just going to be a little bit of a dubbing ball here. Okay, this is more just to help the legs and everything sit out. So it's just going to be a bit of a ball. That's it. Okay. Then I'm going to take 2 of the silver and clear. If I can get 2 of them out of there. There we go. Just 2 of those. Roughly fold them in half. They don't have to be perfect. I'm going to come back up to about there and just tie them in. Give that a bit of a stretch just so they're okay, and they can be right up on top. You can pull them along the sides a little bit if you want to. Okay, that's a little long for my taste, so I'm just gonna nip them to about there. Okay, and then I'm gonna take, because these are the micros, so I'm taking 3 or 4 of these. And I'll add them the same way. If I can get it cut off of this piece here. Add them roughly the same way. Let's just see how that's going to, yeah, that'll work. I want these a little bit longer. So again, I'm just going to tie these in. Not too worried about what it looks like up here. It's all going to get covered. So I'm just giving this a really good stretch. Come all the way back to that dubbing ball. Okay, and these I'm going to cut a little longer. Get them all up there. Probably about there. Okay. Now I'm going to take more of that Vicuna orange, or that burnt orange. And I'm going to create another dubbing ball, but this time I want a little bit more on there because I want to be able to pull this back and pull it out. So Doesn't have to be dubbed on too tight because you can tighten it as you go. As soon as it grabs, you can start tightening it up. You don't want it overly tight here either, right? Because now I'm going to actually pull all that out. I'm using a barbecue brush here. So I'm just going to pull that out of the way, just so that's out of the way a bit. Okay. Once that's pulled out, now I'm going to take my eyes. Okay. Actually, what I'm going to do first, just because it gives me a little bit better of a location, I'm going to come up to the front here, and then I'm going to add my dumbbell. So I'm just 2, 3 that way, 2, 3 this way, and then make sure you do the under. Right, that'll help seat it. And later I'll set this with crazy glue anyway. And then another set of the under. Okay. Now I'm going to set these, because I want these eyes kind of sticking up this way. Okay. So I want them actually facing down here. And I want it about a little bit past the bend of the hook. So I'm just going to put that on. Let's see where I am. It's not too bad. It's a little tiny bit long. There we go. That's a bit better. Same with this one. I'm going to just tie that onto the side for now. I know that's way too long. I can just tell. Come on. Just grab that. And that one there is just a tad too long. There we go. So let's have them facing down a bit. Now I'm going to crank them down. This is when a good GSP thread comes in, because you can crank those down so they don't. It is mono, so it does become slippery. Now you can add a dab of crazy glue if you like, but I don't find it that necessary. Okay. And just to make sure it's all nice and tight. I like putting just a little bit more of that orange here. So it's not a ton more, but some. And you want this stuff, again, fairly loose here, right? You don't want a real tight dub, because you want to be able to pull this out. Okay. So now, I've got actually a couple of choices. I can go with a brush, a pre-made brush. This is a 2-inch, so it would be a little long for this one, but like a 1-inch brush like this, you could do that if you want something with a bit more sparkle. I like using this kind of a cream colored vicuna dubbing here. Just do a dubbing loop, pull that up forward, my spinner, put her in there, get my dubbing, and you want a pretty good amount of this dubbing in here. So I'm going to put one, and I'll grab another little fingerful, because you're going to pull this out, and a lot of it's going to come out as you pull it out, which is fine, right? Okay. Just giving my bobbin spinner a good spin up there. Do it one more time. Again, this is where a good thread comes in. So just pulling this out. I want this to be nice and bushy. Okay. Then I'll stroke all that material back as I come forward. Get right in behind those eyes. Lock that in. I really like locking this in really well because I'm going to be doing quite a bit of I'm going to be pretty aggressive in the next step here with my dubbing brush to pull out that dubbing, right? So I'll come up forward here in front. I'm just going to whip finish. I'm not going to cut it off yet. I'm just going to whip finish just in case I do something that I need to be able to pull it out again, right? Or do another set. So now I'm just gonna, again, with that bottle brush, that barbecue brush, just really get aggressive with that. Really good tropical pattern, really good for bones and permit and GTs and even mullet and mackerel and cuda. They'll all go after this. Cudas rarely, they'll more go after more of a bait fish pattern. But so that is it. I'm going to do one more whip finish up front here, just to give it a. Make sure I'm good and tight there. Cut that off. I'll put a dab of crazy glue in there. And then what I like doing is I like just taking these eyes and giving them a bit of a bend out. And there is your, let's see if I can focus that a bit better. There's your finished shrimp pattern. So there you go. That is it. A very simple pattern to tie. I vary the color in the legs and the length of the legs. Here's another one with some pink legs, a little bit longer as well, right? So this one's probably about an inch longer, the legs on this one. I tie them bigger as well, and like I said, when I tie them bigger, I like putting some flash in. So I use these. This is a bait fish brush, 2-inch bait fish brush, right? So, and then I also have it in a different color for that back portion when I'm tying them bigger. But yeah, so that's it. And this obviously this will ride in this orientation. Sorry, it's out of the camera, but that's the orientation it'll ride in. So that's why you want those eyes kind of facing down. Alrighty, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that one, and thanks for watching this edition of On the Bench with Sport Fishing on the Fly. Tie lines, everyone.